Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, as per your respective time zone. Um, on behalf of entire managed service system, would like to welcome you all to this 23A Talent and OLC Update Advisory webinar session. This important session is to keep you fully synchronized with the new features and functionalities as a part of this quarter release that Oracle provides. My name is Hardik Patel, and I'm an operations manager here at Mastek Managed Services team. Today, I'm your host for this session, and I'm glad to introduce my colleague Charu Vohra, who's part of our vast HCM team at Mastek. Today, she'll take us through all the Talent and OLC updates for 23A code release. Today's session is planned for around 45-60 minutes, and we'll also make sure that we leave some time to answer any questions you may have. We have panelists available, Kajri Butt, and she'll be able to take any questions you may have during the session or during the Q&A at the end. Before we move to the Q&A, let's have a look at the important disclaimer. We would like to convey your approach towards Oracle updates in a very simple method. We'll be taking you through vital analysis for 23A updates done by our experts, which will help you incorporating new features and updates easily into your system. We will also sync you on any bugs or known issues if there are any. It's good to have an interactive session, so please do ask questions through chat or question panels, and we'll be happy to answer during the session or at the end of the session. Just to give you a glimpse on how we have created the structure of this session. So first thing what you see is list of new features coming into 23A, detailing on features so you get brief understanding on what new features are all about. And next one is what are the business benefits and important takeaway for you as a decision maker. There are 4 important components where we have done in-depth analysis of the features which we are going to present to you today. The first one is impact level analysis, which demonstrate the impact on end user. If it's a low impact, then regression testing can be avoided or not. If it's a high impact, then we need to offer regression testing. And the second one, which is we all are aware, there are some features which are by default auto-enabled by Oracle, and there are some which we need to opt for. Third one highlights the nature of the feature. There are certain configuration which may be required and some can be used without any changes. And the last one, which is a quick win. This term we simply use to convey that what is ready to use by investing minimum amount of time and what requires significant amount of time and efforts to make use of this feature. Before we start today's session, I'll be launching one poll wherein we need your help, letting us know that which industry does your organization belongs to, please. So you can please help us. Thank you so much. We'll be closing the poll, and I'll be now immediately handing over to my colleague, Charu, and she'll be taking you through today's update. Charu, please unmute yourself, and the stage is all yours. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. My name is Charu, and I'm here to take you through the new quarterly features introduced in 23A for Talent and Learning Cloud modules. So overall, there are 38 features that we are going to discuss today. Some of them are default, that is, these are the ones which you can use as is. There is no or very minimal configuration needed. And the other ones are the opt-ins, wherein you might have to do certain configurations and also regression testing. So let's start with the quick wins or features which are default and does not require any configuration. So the very first one is deleting specific HR assigned goals. So as a HR specialist, now you will be able to define if a performance goal that you're assigning to the employees can be deleted by the managers or employees. For that, there is an additional setting which will be available in the add goal page, which will allow you to select whether it should be deleted or whether you would like to give the permission to managers only to delete such assigned performance goals, or to manager and employees both. The next one is about enhanced restriction on maximum number of performance goals in goal plan. So now as an administrator, you have the ability to add certain more settings or use certain more settings along with the current field, which is maximum number of goals in a goal plan. So while creating a goal plan, if you have already defined the maximum number of goals that a particular goal plan can have, then you can utilize the new settings which are now available from 23A, that is enforce maximum goals. This particular setting basically allows manager and HR specialist to assign any goals in the goal plan so that they will not exceed it. So if the maximum goal you have defined in your plan is 10 and you have enforced or checked this particular setting, then HRs and managers will not be able to assign anything beyond the maximum goals. The second setting which is available is allow private goals to exceed maximum goal limit. If you select this particular setting, then the employees will be able to add private goals to the goal plan even when the goal plan has a maximum goals assigned. So based on how you have configured or you would like to configure your system, you can opt for this particular settings. The next one is about restriction on goal delete. So as of today, managers can delete the goals from the team members, even if they are currently working on it. So with this particular limitation or this particular restriction imposed, managers will not be able to delete goals when the team members or the employees have already started working on it, or they already have added notes in the goals. This is basically to save their efforts and work so that they will not lose their performance goals work that they have already completed. The next one is about add and remove person profile competencies in performance document. So with this particular feature, employee and managers can now add or remove competencies directly in the performance document. So when an employee or a manager add or remove any competency from the competency section of the performance document that is configured to populate using profile, then it will immediately reflect in the employee's talent profile in skill and qualification page as well. So this basically is introduced to save time while adding and removing any competency directly in the performance document. The next is competency target proficiencies and rating in all-in-one evaluation. All-in-one evaluation is something which is introduced in the previous release. It is basically introduced for managers so that they can evaluate all their employees in one go. So in this particular feature, there is a further enhancement wherein now the managers can even see the competencies. Within the competencies, they can see the target proficiency and performance rating so that they can further rate their employees accordingly. This is basically to make it competencies visible and to make it even more convenient for the managers. Substitute performance document evaluators support in all-in-one evaluation. Now with 23A, in the all-in-one evaluation page, which is currently used by managers, an additional feature is going to introduce wherein managers can further assign a substitute or a backup evaluator who can complete the evaluation on behalf of the manager. This is basically to provide a helping hand to the managers so that they can further substitute or reallocate their evaluation work to the substitute evaluator. Synchronize person profile competency in performance document process. So if competencies in the employee talent person profile are missing from the performance document, now you have a new process or a scheduled process introduced named synchronize person profile competency in performance document, which you can schedule it or you can run it on a daily basis, or maybe you can schedule it to run once in a day, which will basically help and identify missing competencies and add them to the employee's performance document. This feature is basically beneficial to ensure that the employee's talent profile is in sync with their performance document. The next one is about requested feedback for touchpoints. Now, touchpoints is a feature which was again introduced in the last release. It is basically introduced to ensure frequent interactions or encourage frequent interactions between managers and employees so that they can, schedule more check-ins, regular check-in meetings amongst them. There is an enhancement or addition to that feature, which is called requested feedback, through which now employee or a manager can also request feedback for themselves or their colleagues, and they can request that from their managers or their peers or anyone in the organization. If they want, they can even use the questionnaires from the library to get the feedback. Once the feedback is received, they can even share that feedback with their managers. So this is how it would look in the touch points requested feedback page, wherein they can see all their feedbacks that they have requested or they have received, and they can even go through the feedback received from different stakeholders. The next one is about accepting a waitlisted seat. So with this particular feature, now a learner who is in a waiting list, so if the learner has enrolled into any ILT, instructor-led offering or blended offering, and they are currently into waiting list, once the seat is available, they will have the flexibility to accept or decline that seat. So if in case they accept the seat, then it will become an active enrollment for them. And if in case they decline it, they will be withdrawn or removed from that enrollment. The next one is about communities I manage in learning. So this is in the self-service page. So from me, my communities, and under that they will have communities I manage. Within this area, they will be able to see all the types of communities they are part of, whether they are, so irrespective of whether they are self-service, official, or category based, they can see all those communities in one place. So it's like a one-stop shop wherein they can see all the communities they are part of. The other one is again related to learning and journeys. So in HCM journeys, now there are two different type of task types that are introduced related to journeys. One is learn community and another one is learn enrollment, which basically means so let's say if you have an onboarding process, onboarding journeys in place, and you would like new hires to enroll into or get added into a particular community, learning community, then you can introduce a task within your journey, and you can use that particular community in the journey, so that once the worker or the new hire use that or click on it, it will automatically get the employee into the journeys or into the community page. So this is how it would look. So let's assume you have already you have created a journey with the community. Once the candidate or the employee clicks on it, it will take the employee to the journey or to the learning community details page. The next one is about learning incident. So as you know, learning incident is basically a incident that you can raise in the system for any course or offering which you think is not appropriate, which generally goes out for approval. From now on, that is from 23A, these kind of incident transactions will also appear in the transaction console, so that as an administrator, they can have a better control. They can terminate, withdraw, or reassign these incidents if needed. The next one is about learning. When the learning item is requested from self-service, when I say learning item, it could be a video, or if you publish any kind of video, tutorial, anything from the self-service, and it goes out for a approval. Now we have a capability that within the approval notification itself, approver will be able to see the content, and thus they can have or make a informed decision. This is just to make a life easier for approval so that they can see everything in the same area. The next one is about waitlist management automation. So after the offering end date is in the past for any instructor-led or blended learning, now there is a process which will run in the background, which will automatically delete any offering assignment which are currently in the statuses like waitlisted or pending seat acceptance or pending fulfillment, etc. So when the start date arrives for any offering, any ILT or blended offering, existing waitlisted learners will no longer be automatically get enrolled, and it also give a flexibility to administrators to control the active learners and can accept more learners into the offering or not. They can take the decision accordingly. The next is related to OTBI, that is report enhancements. So in the current subject areas, which is workforce profile, person profile, and workforce profile, model profile, real time, there are additional attributes and dimensions added, which will allow you to report out information related to skills. So if in case you are using skills person type in your environments, then going forward, since it is available in reporting, you will be able to report out that data as well. So you can modify your existing reports to incorporate this. The next one is again related to OTBI or reporting. So with this, the current subject areas, which is for succession management and pool, talent pool, now you have additional dimensions and attributes which will allow you to report the data on when a candidate is added to a pool or a succession plan. So if you are already using reports, you will be able to add or see these new attributes from 23A. The next one is again related to reporting area. So there are again new attributes which are added related to data submission status in the workforce talent review meeting real-time subject area. So now we will look into some of the quick wins or defaults which require certain level of configuration in order to use it. The first one is configure notification for automatically populated metrics manager participants in performance document. So basically, in the current list of talent notifications, a new notification is added for the participant feedback to notify the participants or notify the automatically populated metrics manager so that they can immediately, so as soon as the performance document is created, they can get the notification and they can start working on it. So you can modify or you can enable this notification from the talent notification area under my client group performance, and you can use it accordingly. The next one is about control sort options for displaying performance document to employees and managers. So there are certain sort. So basically with this feature, you will be able to define the default value and also make changes to the sort order options for displaying in the performance document. And you can, these sort options are available or display in the current pages like performance spotlight or manage evaluate performance. So these are basically controlled through a lookup values or through a lookup table, and from that table you can do the required configuration or changes to change or modify the default value and the sort orders so that you can use it accordingly. The next is about subscriber security in questionnaires. So the users who are currently actively working on questions, questionnaire templates, and questionnaires, you might have noticed that when you have access to this area, you can see all the questionnaires, you can see all the subscribers basically, whether it is learning, performance, recruiting, irrespective of, because currently these libraries cannot be restricted. Now with this particular feature, we have an ability to restrict these subscribers. So for example, if you do not want recruiting subscriber access for line manager, then you can add such roles in those subscribers so that only the concerned subscribe or concerned roles will be able to see those subscribers. If you do not add any role in any subscriber, then they will be able to see, user will be able to see everything. And when you add that, then they will be only restricted to that particular subscriber. The next one is about configure multiple potential assessment for talent review. So companies who are currently using the talent review, you might have noticed that right now you can only use seeded potential assessment across. So whether you have one template or meeting or you have multiple templates or meeting, you can only use the seeded potential assessment. Now with this feature, you have the ability to create multiple potential assessments, and you can use it in your different templates and meetings. At one point of time, each meeting or each template can only have one potential assessment, but you can, so let's assume if you have one template wherein you have added one particular potential assessment, custom one, and you are creating two different meetings, then you can use or override and use different potential assessment in your meeting. So this is how it would look like, and in the template talent review template, you will be able to see a drop down list wherein you will see all your potential assessment that you have configured in the system. Similarly, when you as a facilitator try to create a meeting, then also you will have the option to select one of the templates for potential assessment. The next one is about talent review, design studio support for talent review meeting configuration. So now you have, now through HCM Design Studio, you will be able to control and configure talent review meetings. So for example, if you want to hide or unhide certain fields, or if you want to make certain fields mandatory or non-mandatory, you will be able to now control it through HCM Design Studio. This is basically to ensure that people or companies are able to use the fields as per their organizational needs. The next one is about touch points. So in touch points, which we discussed earlier as well, introduced in last release, you can create check-in meetings. Now they have further improvised it and enhanced it, wherein you can even schedule these check-in meetings on a recurring basis on the basis of or according to the frequency you want. The basic frequencies available to you will be daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. And whatever topic you will add in your one meeting, that is the very initial check-in meeting, it will automatically get added in your recurring meetings as well. So if in case you are using touch points, then you can use this feature as well. This is how it would look like in the system. So there is a events and interaction timeline wherein you can see all your recurring check-in meetings details. The other one is also related to touchpoint, that is enhanced touchpoint nudges. So the teams who are using touchpoints or nudges, basically nudge configuration allows you to send out a timely notification for certain modules. This was again introduced in 22D along with touchpoints. In this particular release, they have further enhanced it to include modules like career development, goals, feedback, and talent profile, so that you can send out notification. An example which are provided by Oracle is, let's say for goal, if employee does not have goals in a goal plan and you would like to send out a notification to employee and a manager, then you can use this nudge configuration feature to configure these kind of notifications. These are very simple to configure. You can refer to Touchpoints user guide or implementation guide if you would like to have more details around it. The next one is again related to nudges. Similar to the previous one, for talent profile or profile management as well, there is a nudge introduced or a scenario introduced named employee has not updated talent profile for a period of time. So using that particular scenario, which you will find in the nudge configuration page, you will be able to enable a time-based notification for workers or managers who have not updated their talent profile. So when you use a nudge, you can basically send out notification in the form of email, or you can even create journeys along with your nudges, and it also work in conjunction with touch points. The next one that are the ones which are basically opt-ins. Opt-ins as in these are the ones for which you have to enable, you have to do certain level of configuration, and it may require regression testing as well. The first one in this is consistent use of location name in succession management. So right now, the location details that you see in the succession plan or the talent pool generally shows the city information. Now you will be able to see the exact or actual location name. But in order to do that, you have to configure or you have to use the employee location field or mark it as yes in the location details page of the workforce structure. So basically you have to do this configuration, or you have to update your existing locations in core HR so that it can display accordingly or can be used accordingly in succession management and talent pool. Similar to that, you can do the same for talent review. Once you update all your locations in the workforce structure, and as the employee location equals to yes, the same will display as location name in talent review page instead of city information. The next one is about talent pool security. So as of today, if you are using talent pool, talent pools are primarily available only to the named owners. Whosoever is the owner of a talent pool, only they can see those talent pools in their access. But from this release, administrator can configure, or administrator can control the security of talent pool as well using talent pool security profiles. So there are two types of talent pools that you must have noticed. One is private or public. Private will still be available only for the named owners, but for the public or non-private pools, you can configure security profiles. Now these security profiles can be configured in a way that only the people of specific business unit or maybe department or job family should be able to see those pools. So that level of security now you can enforce. The next one is again about the talent review meeting configuration guided journey. So basically, now you can use guided journey in the talent review meeting. In one of the previous slides, we have noticed that HCM Design Studio now supports talent review meeting. On the top of that, it also supports guided journey for talent review meeting. So basically, you can create a guided journey and you can use it in your talent review meeting, which can help your facilitator as a guidance, such as tutorial or maybe a best practice. So as you can see in the screenshot, when you're using a guided journey in your talent review page, it will display like this. You will see a guide me as on the top of the page or within the section, the way you have configured in your HCM Design Studio. The next one is about activity sequencing. Now, in the current scenario, when you're creating a specialization or when you're creating a offering, you use different activities, but we do not have any capability right now to create a sequence, to create those or display them in a certain sequence, or to create a dependency amongst those activities, that first two activities must be completed before the person start on the third one. Okay. Now with this particular feature, you will be able to define the series of activities in your offering or specialization. You can define which of the activities are mandatory or must be completed. You can group them, and you can even create that level of dependency. So if you will see these new settings when you are working on any specialization or offering. So this is how it would look like when you enroll. In the enrollment page, the first two sections, if you see here, it will mark, or if you are making it as required and if you have defined a sequence, then it will display like this. Plus, since you have the ability to create a dependency, then your second section will show as dependent or locked until the first one is completed. The next one is about observation checklist. So observation checklists are nothing but the questionnaires. Now you will have the ability to create checklist or questionnaires in your content, and you can further use it in your offerings or specialization. These checklists basically allows or let your learners rate themselves, rate their own performance. Plus, you can even create a checklist for observers, which will allow them to either rate the learner's performance or to sign off on the learning activity. The observer will be the final approver of whether the learner passes or fails the activity. And these learners can be anybody. It can be named individual. It can be from the managerial hierarchy or from by using area of responsibility. And as I mentioned earlier, this checklist is nothing but something that you can create using questionnaires. So this is how your checklist can be added in your current offerings, and this is how they would look like. So you can create questionnaires as per your own requirement, and you can add them in your current processes or the new learning offerings or specializations. The next one is reassigning learnings. So when you assign any course and offering, you can now decide the outcome for the people in the target audience who already have completed these ones. So these learning. So basically, there are certain new settings which are introduced, which will allow you to define the retake policies, when the person or learner can retake this particular learning again. You can define it on the basis of dates as well. Okay, so you will see certain default settings once a 23A is available, which will help you to define these kind of retake policies. The next one is renewal management improvements. So when you change the renewal rules of required learning initiative for your courses, you will now get this warning, this informational message, and whatever changes you are making in the renewal rules, it will now be applicable for both existing initiative learners as well as the new learners who will get added later on. For this, you also have to activate or use activity sequencing feature, which we discussed earlier. The next is about reporting on learning activity progression. So now this particular feature is related to OTBI or reporting within learning. So now you can report on learners and the learning while the learning is still in progress, so that you can see what are the things or activities which are completed versus what are the ones which are still pending. You can report out on offerings or specializations, and this report can let you see all the activities sections, whether mandatory or not mandatory. You can even see the sequence in which they are created or assigned to an individual. As of today, you must have noticed that this particular report only shows the results for learnings which are completed, but with this particular enhancement, it will also display the learnings which are still in progress. And the last one are the opt-ins, which we have categorized as additional. The first one here is validate performance goal category autocomplete rule. So Oracle has defined, or Oracle has provided a autocomplete rule named validate goal category for HR users, under which is available under goals object or business object area. This is basically introduced to restrict certain goal categories that the HR specialist can use. So let's assume if the rule is activated, and if HR specialists select any category while creating a goal which is already specified in this rule, then they will not be able to save it. They can either get an error or a warning message depending on how you have configured it. So there is already this delivered one which will be available, but you will always have a flexibility to use the HCM Design Studio autocomplete rule and create a duplicate of this particular rule and make changes as per your organizational need. This is how the autocomplete rule defined or provided by Oracle would look like. The next one is about my community's Redwood learner experience. So in case you are already using Redwood learner or you already know about Redwood experience, Redwood is nothing but a new platform or you provided basically to enhance the user experiences. It has completely new look and it basically provides completely new look and feel. So if in case you have not configured it, then you can configure it using enable Redwood learner experience. There are certain configurations that you have to complete before using it. So as a part of the existing Redwood learner experience, they have further expanded it to include learning experience or to change the look and feel of my learning communities. You can access it in the current pages. You can access it using me learning page and view my learning community. And when you go there, you will see these filter chips which allows you to switch between the communities that I am a member of versus the communities which I manage. So as I mentioned, this is the new look and feel of a Redwood learning experience if you have already enabled this feature, or Redwood basically. The next one is again related to Redwood learner experience, and this particular one is related to my shared learning. So now they will have a new look and feel of the my shared learning, wherein they can see the videos and learning journeys which they have published. So this is how it would look like. So they can see the videos that they have published in this manner. And in the My Learning Journeys tab, they can see the journeys that they have published on their pages. This can be accessed through employee self-service. The last one is Skills Advisor for Learning. Now, if in case you are using Oracle AI or you're planning to use Oracle AI apps for HCM and dynamic skills, and you have already enabled Redwood Learner Experience setup, then you will be able to use this particular feature of Skills Advisor, wherein it will automatically suggest appropriate skills to the learning outcome while configuring a course or a specialization. Here, the suggestions that you will get will be based on the course or the specialization title or description or the short description. And the more you configure it or the more rules you will add, on the basis of that, you will get a closest description or closest skills suggestions by the system. But as I mentioned, as a prerequisite, you have to implement Oracle AI apps for HCM and dynamic skills. And also you must have enabled Redwood learner experience. So with this, we come to an end of all the features that are available in 23A. And from here, thank you so much for your time and patience. And I would like to hand it over from here to my colleague and the panelist for further Q&A session.
Thank you, Charu, for the wonderful insights. Before we go to the Q&A, we just need your 1 more minute, and we would like to note down your area of interest, whether they're technology innovations or managed services or value-based analytics or Cloud 4.0. with this poll. And if you need any of the information, detailed information or session, please do reach out to the existing support managers or the service manager, and we'll be more than happy to arrange a session or connect. Meanwhile, we've got a panelist Kajri available. If you can check if you've got any question, if you would like to read out it, if there was any, and if you've already answered, please let me know. We'll be closing the poll now. You can unmute yourself, Kajri, and let me know if there is any question.
Hi, Hardik. There are no questions here.
Okay. There was one question that was answered, right, in the chat panel.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And we'll be closing this poll now. And so we'd like to keep you posted that we'll be sending you the presentation deck along with the test scripts for this session. And we'll be sending an email in a couple of days' time. And we'd also like to show you that list of upcoming sessions coming in. So if you want to pass the message to your colleagues, they can register. So we have HR help desk coming in tomorrow, supply chain workforce management, global payroll, benefits and compensation. These are all next week. Finance, supply chain inventory, order management, and project portfolio management, PPM dedicated session this time. So again, if you have any question related to even existing session, today's session, please do reach out to us. And so we'd like to again thank you everyone, and please rate us on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 means we did good today. And if there is an area of improvements, please let us know. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'll be closing the poll now, and we'll have a very, very last question before you all leave us. We don't have any more questions after this. Have you attended any of the previous advisory sessions, please? And with this poll, would like to thank you everyone for their valuable time today. And again, just before we close, we'll be sending you this presentation and recording as well, and which will be available to you with a single click from your email. So please do look out. Thank you so much. And we are at the end of the session now. And thank you once again, everyone. Thank you.